Next to my desk in my office is a piece of paper in which I have written boldly in permanent Sharpie my 4 resolutions for the year 2023. 1, to eat more West Indian food. 2, to stop texting while I drove. 3, to get 150 minutes of movement, physical movement of my body every week. And 4, stop worrying about things that haven't happened yet. That final one, to stop worrying about things that haven't happened yet, that has been the hardest to accomplish. And I still have the most of the year to keep on trying, but it has definitely required a retooling of my spirit and a training of my mind. I realized that this was something I really needed to think about and work on when my sister told us she was thinking about moving back to the States from Belgium. She and her husband were considering a move to Portland, Maine. Immediately upon hearing the news, I called up my parents, fretting, firing questions at them. Well, what if she moves to Portland? How will we manage holidays? I mean, already it's a lot with you living in Boston and me living in Philadelphia. I mean, farther north than Boston, this is going to be hard. And my dad looks at me and he goes, honey, she hasn't even moved yet. Let's worry about it when it happens. And I realized in that moment that I was so inclined towards worrying about things that had yet to come to pass that I was robbing myself of the joy. My sister was moving back to the States. She was moving a 90-minute plane ride away instead of a 7-hour plane ride. That she was moving to the same time zone instead of 6 hours ahead. All of this excitement about having my best friend back within reach negated in an instant because I felt stressed about what was to come with logistical planning. So fixated on future worry, so fixated on proclaiming something as possibly bad that I had robbed myself of present joy, and I had no one to blame but myself. Wendell Berry's Piece of Wild Things is chock full of eternal wisdom, each line offering a nut of truth and comfort. But it was the line in which he proclaims that it is the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief that drove right into the heart of this sermon, that inspired me to consider how the natural world shows us a way to quell that anxiety, to quell the worry and bring ourselves into the present. The paradox of my concern, the paradox of the concern so many of us share, is that the fixation on the future, with the anxieties that we project into the coming months and years, the paradox is that we know we cannot control the future. And it is this very recognition, this shadow knowledge, which casts a pall over all of our lives, that causes us to become freaks of control, grasping at every strand to set things just so, to make things just so that the variables of our lives can be crossed off. The paradox of wanting to control is rooted in knowing how little we can. We know logically in our minds that we cannot affect what will happen in the future. We cannot control the universe, but our hearts and our souls and our spirits are unsettled by this logic. It disturbs our desire for ever more life, ever more ease and hours with our loved ones, with this precious gift of today. Poets know how precarious our position is. How in the blink of an eye the world can upend, and things we count as true and sure, the things we take for granted, can be no more. David Waite writes, I awoke this morning in the gold light, turning this way and that, and I thought, this is the good day you could meet your love. This is the hard day someone close to you could die. This is the day you realize how easily the thread is broken between this world and the next. And so we tax ourselves with 4 thoughts of grief. Using the strange, twisted logic of the heart, we try to exert control over that which cannot be controlled, spiraling out. And so, in an effort to make progress towards this 4th resolution of mine, I turned to song, one that my grandmother loved dearly, and it has become something of a mantra, one that I whistle when I feel that rising stress, moving its way up my body from belly to heart to mind. I put it in my throat, and I sing. Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera. The future, not ours to see. It belongs to someone else. It belongs to something else. I needn't concern myself with the future. It's not my responsibility. In a world where there is so much I'm responsible for the list of things I must accomplish, errands I must run, tender relationships I must nurture, plus all your souls which I have to save. The future, it's not mine to see. Someone or something else is in charge of that. How freeing, how liberating. Whatever will be, will be. There is a Taoist story of an old farmer who had worked his crops for many years. And then one day, his horse runs away. Upon hearing the news, the neighbors came to visit. Such bad luck, they said sympathetically. Maybe, the farmer replied. The next morning, the horse returned, bringing with it 3 other wild horses. Oh, how wonderful, the neighbors exclaimed. Maybe, said the old man. The following day, his son tried to ride one of the untamed horses and was thrown and broke his leg. The neighbors came again to offer their sympathy on his misfortune. Maybe, answered the farmer. The day after, military officials come to the village to draft young men into the army. Seeing the broken leg, they pass over the son. Neighbors congratulated the farmer on how well things had turned out for him. Maybe, said the farmer. Whatever will be, will be. It's not an abdication of responsibility. It's not ignorance or sticking our head in the sand. It's an acknowledgement of our own finite abilities and an invitation to the joy of the present, rather than the anxiety of the future. Whatever will be, will be. You are released. You are free. But what accompanies that freedom is a need for confidence, a need for a steady drumbeat of courage inside which reminds you whatever will be, and you will survive it. Whatever will be, and you will make it through. The artist, musician, writer Morgan Harper Nichols writes, "Whenever you start to feel overwhelmed by the reality of an unknown future, I hope you can remember that today used to be one of those days that you worried so tirelessly about. And now, here you are, on the other side of that unknown, successfully making through each moment, one breath at a time. And the fact that you're still breathing and finding light along the path is proof your unknowns have not defined you. Even here, there is more to you." The Black poet Lucille Clifton writes, Won't you celebrate with me what I have shaped into a kind of life? Come, celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed. The unknowns have not defined you. Each day that death has come for you has failed. Not today, Satan. Each day we wake up, we say yes to life, an opportunity to choose the joy of the present moment instead and over the grief of the future. The peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought. It is peace Barry seeks. A peace that can be achieved in striving for a life lived in the present, a life which answers, maybe, to each chorus of, such bad news, or, oh, such good news? It is a tax on our lives to spend so much of our energy on that which has yet to come to pass. And in this tax season, let's agree, we won't pay. Yeah, send it to the military instead. Let's agree to save that for our larger something, that larger someone which holds the future. For it is not ours to see. And isn't there room to breathe in that freedom? Today, I give you permission to set aside the churning concerns for the future and simply be present to yourself today, to your loved ones today, to your community today. May the peace of wild things find its way into your bones. May you learn to sing Sera Sera at the rising of the grief. May you choose joy today, in this hour. Let us celebrate together all the ways that we are still alive. Blessed be, and amen. Hi, I'm Reverend Hannah Capaldi.
And I'm Reverend Abby Tennis. We are the ministers at the First Unitarian Church of Philadelphia, where our mission is to awaken love and justice in our lives and in the world.
We're so grateful that you watched, and we hope that the sermon connected with your soul.
We also want to invite you to join us for a live worship service every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You can always find the link to that service on our website at www.philauu.org. In these services, you'll hear words like you've just heard, and you also get a chance to greet one another, pray together, sing together, and we even hold a virtual coffee hour after services to get a chance to greet some new and old friends.
If you want to support the mission of this community and you feel moved to give, you can do so by going to the website that Reverend Abby just mentioned. You can find that link below, or you can text 215-709-5095 and follow the prompts to give.
If someone in your life needs to hear these words today, we encourage you to share this video. And again, thank you so much for watching.
We hope to see you soon.